Before Baltimore was known for its inner harbor skyline, its shipyards, or its role as a gritty industrial powerhouse, it was a city shaped by revolution. In the pivotal year of 1776, Baltimore wasn't on the margins of American history but near its very center. It was a busy port town whose people, streets, and docks were deeply entangled in the birth of a new nation. To understand Baltimore in that year is to understand how the American Revolution was lived day by day by ordinary citizens, merchants, sailors, politicians, and enslaved people who didn't know if independence would bring freedom, chaos, prosperity, or ruin. In 1776, Baltimore was still relatively young, officially founded only a few decades earlier. Yet it had already grown into one of the most important ports in the American colonies. This was thanks to its deep harbor, strategic location on the Chesapeake Bay, and its growing connections to inland farms and frontier settlements. It was a crucial link between the agricultural interior and the wider Atlantic world. The town was bustling with activity. Its waterfront was crowded with ships carrying flour, tobacco, iron goods, and imported items from the Caribbean and Europe. The narrow streets nearby were filled with taverns, workshops, warehouses, and homes that reflected both opportunity and inequality. Politically, Baltimore in 1776 was alive with debate and tension. News from Philadelphia, Boston, and London filtered in through newspapers, letters, and sailors' rumors. Conversations about loyalty to the British Crown versus independence weren't abstract ideas. They were urgent questions that could divide families, congregations, and neighborhoods. Maryland as a colony was deeply divided, with powerful loyalist interests tied to British trade and governance. But Baltimore was more radical than much of the surrounding countryside. By 1776, it had become a hotbed of revolutionary sentiment, driven by merchants who resented British trade restrictions, artisans who chafed under economic control, and working-class sailors who were often the first to feel the impact of imperial policies. When the Declaration of Independence was adopted in July 1776, Baltimore's reaction was intense and immediate. There were public readings, celebrations, and demonstrations that signaled a decisive shift toward rebellion. Even as they celebrated, many residents understood that this declaration also made their city a target in a war that was far from over. The social fabric of Baltimore in 1776 was complex and often contradictory. While the language of liberty filled speeches and pamphlets, the city was also deeply connected to slavery. Enslaved Africans and African Americans made up a significant portion of the population, laboring in homes, on the docks, in workshops, and on nearby plantations. Their hopes and fears were shaped by the Revolution in ways that white patriots often ignored. Some enslaved people saw the chaos of war as a chance to escape, especially as the British offered freedom to those who fled rebel masters and joined their cause. Others found themselves pressed into harder labor as wartime demands increased, revealing the painful gap between revolutionary ideals and lived reality. Economically, 1776 was a year of disruption and transformation for Baltimore. The outbreak of full-scale war altered trade patterns almost overnight. It cut off traditional markets while opening new opportunities through privateering, basically government-sanctioned piracy against enemy ships, and lucrative wartime supply contracts. Baltimore's shipbuilders and sailors became increasingly important to the revolutionary cause. The city emerged as a center for fast, maneuverable vessels that could harass British shipping, bringing both wealth and danger to those involved. This contributed to a culture that celebrated boldness, risk-taking, and defiance of imperial authority. The port itself was a place of constant motion and uncertainty. Ships arrived carrying news of battles and blockades, and they departed under threat of interception by the powerful British Navy. This was a constant reminder to residents that the war was not a distant affair, but something that could reach their doorstep at any moment. Militarily, Baltimore in 1776 played a critical supporting role rather than serving as a major battlefield. But its strategic importance was well understood by both sides, leading to increased fortifications, militia training, and preparations for a possible attack. Local militias drilled regularly, often made up of tradesmen and laborers who had to balance military duties with the demands of earning a living. These citizen soldiers embodied the revolutionary ideal of ordinary people, taking responsibility for their own defense, even as they struggled with shortages of weapons, training, and discipline. The city's leaders worked to coordinate with the Continental Congress and Maryland's revolutionary government. They navigated the challenges of funding, supplies, and loyalty in a time when the outcome of the war was anything but certain. Culturally, Baltimore in 1776 was a place where ideas moved quickly, thanks to a growing print culture that included newspapers, pamphlets, and broadsides. These spread revolutionary arguments, mocked British authority, and debated the meaning of independence. Taverns were especially important as centers of political discussion. Here, sailors, merchants, and laborers exchanged news and opinions, sometimes loudly and sometimes violently, reflecting the intensity of the moment and the high stakes involved. Religion also played a significant role. Churches served as places where revolutionary rhetoric blended with moral arguments about freedom, duty, and divine providence, even as religious leaders themselves were divided over the legitimacy of rebellion. For women in Baltimore, 1776 brought both new responsibilities and continued limitations. Many took on greater roles in managing households, businesses, and even political organizing while men were away at war. Yet they remained largely excluded from formal political power, highlighting the uneven distribution of revolutionary change. Urban life in Baltimore during 1776 was shaped by both hope and hardship. Shortages of goods, inflation, and the general strain of war tested residents' resilience. At the same time, moments of celebration and solidarity reinforced a shared sense of purpose. Fires, disease, and overcrowding were constant threats in a city built largely of wood. Municipal institutions were still developing, leaving much of daily order to informal networks of neighbors, churches, and local leaders. Despite these challenges, Baltimore continued to grow, drawing in people who believed that independence would bring new opportunities, even if the immediate future looked uncertain. By the end of 1776, as the war dragged on and victories were scarce, Baltimore had fully committed itself to the revolutionary cause. Its identity was now increasingly tied to the idea of American independence. The experiences of that year left lasting marks on the city's political culture, economic orientation, and its sense of itself as a place willing to take risks in pursuit of a larger vision. Looking back, Baltimore in 1776 was not yet the famous charm city or the industrial giant it would become, but it was already a city forged in conflict, shaped by trade, debate, and contradiction. The choices made by its residents during that year helped set the course for its future role in American history. Through the lens of 1776, we see Baltimore not as a backdrop to revolution, but as an active participant in it, a community grappling with the meaning of freedom in real time. In doing so, it left behind a legacy that still echoes in its streets and stories today. If there is another city, another year, or another turning point in history you'd like to explore, let me know in the comments. This journey into the past continues, and there are still countless stories waiting to be told. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into history.